Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a great week. This is early Friday morning, like at 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm getting ready to go to the house. Done my 12 hours for the day. Anyway, hope you've had a great week. And today I'm going to do my top baits for the month of June. June is upon us. I think today's the 30th. Today is the 30th. And June kind of marks the time when we start going into summertime techniques. A lot of the fish are starting to move out of the shallows. Of course, there'll still be some that stays in the shallows all year round. Especially the bluegill chasers. The bluegills will be spawning every full moon for the rest of the summer until the water starts cooling down. But anyway, my top baits for the month of June, we'll start out with the fluke style bait. This is actually a Strike King caffeine shad. It's one of my favorites. Caffeine shad or the Zoom fluke. The big bite bait makes a, I think, a jerk shad maybe. Can't remember what they call it, but they make a good one. I did a video the other day on a way to rig the fluke that'll help get you more hookups, especially if you're not in heavy cover, if you're not fishing around heavy cover, if you're just throwing it out in open water, finding schooling fish, throwing around boat docks, finding those suspended fish. You can use that technique to help your hookup rates. But a fluke is a great bait to be throwing in the month of June. You can rig it Texas style, Texas rig it, just weightless on a wide gap hook. Twitch it around boat docks, twitch it around standing timber, twitch it around brush piles, just anything that the bass will be suspended around or using for cover. The fluke is also a good bait to throw on a Carolina rig. The Carolina rig is a good bait to throw in June. And this Carolina rig is really good to throw on a Carolina rig. Fluke is also good just to put on a football head or a round head, something like that, and work it along the bottom. So you can use that fluke from the top of the water all the way to the bottom. You can use it in anywhere in the water column. Another awesome bait in the month of June is going to be a walk the dog style bait, spook style bait. This here is one of my favorites because it's clear. I fish a lot of clear lakes like 10 Killer, Beaver, Bull Shoals, Table Rock, and these clear, hook shark, these clear baits are awesome in that. Translucent baits is awesome in that clear water. But a walking style bait is one of my favorites. You can throw it over points and bring it back over points. You can work it around boat docks. You can throw it around bridge pilings. Bridge pilings is an awesome place to find bass this time of year. Suspended. They can be on real deep water. They can be up on the shallower piers, pilings. But top water bait is great for throwing around those bridge pilings, for those fish around those. And another top water would be the prop style baits. This is where you take these up there into the shallower water for those fish that still maybe guard and fry. 10-4. For those fish still guard and fry. That's one of my favorite times to throw that prop style bait is fry garters and around bluegill beds and that kind of thing. I catch a lot of fish around bluegill beds and fry garters on that prop style bait, and then also the popper. Come loose. The popper style bait around the bluegill beds and the fry garters. And of course, another staple in the top water line would be just a good old True Faith custom bait buzz bait. I'll have a buzz bait tied on from now until the water gets below about 55 degrees, between 50 and 55 degrees. I'll have a buzz bait tied on, and it'll be on the front deck of my boat, or walking the shoreline, whatever I'm doing fishing. Another bait that I will have tied on. A lot of people may not throw this bait for the rest of the summer like I do, but I got the wrong box out, but it'll get the point across. This is a 1/2 ounce True Faith custom bait spinner bait, but I've got 1 ounce True Faith custom bait spinner baits, and I will have one of those tied on for the month of June. A lot of people will not throw a spinner bait and slow roll it in 20, 25, 30 foot of water. Those fish are not used to seeing a spinner bait out in 20 to 30 foot of water, and you can slow roll that 1 ounce spinner bait out there in that deep water, across points, along drop-offs, along bluff edges, bluff ends, standing timber, any of that. A spinner bait can be a killer bait that not everybody's throwing and the fish are not used to seeing. Another bait that I imagine everybody's kind of guessed that's I'm going to be talking about is a deep diving crankbait. Let's see, this is the DT16 here. I like throwing baits that runs more than 12 or 14 foot deep. This is the 16. I got some of the deeper ones in another box, I guess. The shad colors are more of what I'm going to be throwing this time of year. If I see that the fish is feeding on crawdads, then this will come into play. This time of year the fish are going to feed on whatever's the main forage in the lake, whether it's bluegill, whether it's herring, whether it's threadfin shad, crawfish, perch, trout, tilapia, whatever your main forage is in your area, that's what the fish are going to be feeding on. so you kind of match the hatch for sure this time of year, whether it be crawdads or whether it be the shad. You know, look down in the throats of the fish that you're catching, and a lot of times you're going to see crawdad antennas sticking up. You're going to see bluegill fins. You're going to see shad fins. You know, kind of look and see what they're feeding on. You don't have to necessarily try to match exactly what that crawdad looks like that you see in their throat. Sometimes that works, sometimes it don't. I was fishing the state tournament on Bull Shoals a few years back, and I caught a bass, and the crawdad in its throat had orange, a lot of orange on it. So I got my orange marker out, spike it marker, and put some orange on there, and I couldn't buy a bite with that green pumpkin trailer with orange on it. They would not hit that for nothing. As soon as I took it off and put my plain green pumpkin back on for my trailer, I started catching fish again. So you don't have to exactly match the hatch, you know, don't have to be exact same color. Just match what they're eating, you know, like the crawdad, a jig with a green pumpkin trailer was what they was wanting. Is a brown True Faith custom bait living rubber jig with a green pumpkin trailer. It did not want any orange on the trailer. This is not the exact trailer that I was using. I was throwing, well, this is what I was using after I went back to plain green pumpkin. The Z-Man baits does not take the spike it dye real well, so I was put on a different trailer and put the orange on it, and they would not hit it, but they would hit just the plain green pumpkin Helicross trailer on that jig. Just, I mean, ate it up. One thing that I do like during this warmer water is a bait that has a lot of kicking action. The Helicross has a lot of kicking action. The Striking Rage Craw has great action. Any bait, any craw trailer that you want to throw in the warmer water, just make sure it has quite a bit of action. The warmer the water, the more action I like. Cooler the water, the less action I want. And that brings me to my next bait that I'll be throwing in June, and that'll be the True Faith custom bait jig. If I'm throwing around where they're feeding on bluegill, it'll be the bluegill color jig. If it's just craw jigs, I'll be throwing the browns, the green pumpkins, PB&J, any of those. But a jig with a trailer that gives off a lot of action will be my go-to. I'll throw those jigs on points around brush piles, rock piles, bluff ends, just anywhere I can throw that jig and drag it along the bottom and make contact with a lot of hard cover. That's where I'll be throwing a jig. I'll be throwing on anywhere from 14 to 20-pound fluorocarbon. Just depends on how much cover there is and how snaggy it is, how big a fish I'm fishing in. Anyway, a heavy action rod, medium heavy, and just drag it along in those areas. It's got a lot of good hard cover, brush piles, stumps, rock piles. Throw it around some of the shallower bridge pilings. And anyway, those are going to be my top baits for June, and I hope you learned something from this video. If you have any questions, please put your questions down below, and please hit like, share, and subscribe. And you all have a blessed weekend. Get out and go fishing, get out and go catch a baseball game, just get out and have some fun with the family. Anyway, have a blessed weekend, stay safe, and I will see you guys out on the water.